There's more drama going on over there in Brooklyn. Should the Detroit Pistons get involved and possibly be interested in Kyrie Irving?
You are Locked On Pistons, your daily Detroit Pistons podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's the deal? Welcome back to another episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast. Per usual, I'm your host, Kuka Hill. You can find me over on Twitter at Kuka Hill. I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons, hit that subscribe button, or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you are listening to this on. And today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. First-time users can receive 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code Locked On. That's PrizePicks.com. Use promo code Locked On. So I'm recording this about 20 minutes after the Pistons' victory against the Charlotte Hornets, and we'll be talking about that later. You had some really nice games from Jalen Duren, from Jayden Ivey, from Sadiq Bay. Bojan Bogdanovic had a fine game. We'll talk about some of the things we saw within this game later on, but I have to. I absolutely have to. Kyrie Irving has demanded a trade from the Brooklyn Nets. I have to talk about it. We have to talk about it. Yeah, I'm posing the question. I'm doing it. Should the Detroit Pistons trade for Kyrie Irving? Now, look, I already know the immediate answer is no, okay? I already know the immediate answer from almost all of you guys is probably going to be no. I know you got to go into the comments. Absolutely not. Keep moving away, blah, blah, blah. What's my answer? Probably not. Yeah, I'm there with you guys. But follow me down this road real quick, though. Just follow along with me here. So I don't need to go into what Kyrie's averaging on the year and what Kyrie Irving does as a player. Like everyone, I feel like everyone knows the type of player Kyrie Irving is. One of the best scorers in the entire NBA, one of the most talented players we've ever seen, especially with the ball in his hands. And to be honest, last time I watched him against the Pistons, his overall point guard play looked a lot better than I thought it was. I'm not going to lie. He actually kind of impressed me with how he was trying to find his guys open and how hard he actually was playing defensively. So I saw a lot of Brooklyn Nets people saying that he really was buying in defensively and trying to make his teammates better this year. Nonetheless, I think everyone knows that Kyrie is a special talent. One of the best players in the entire NBA, okay? I think everyone is aware of that. However, everyone knows also about all the headache stuff off the court. There's that whole thing. I don't want to get too far into it, but with the link that he shared earlier in the season, at random points throughout his career, especially with the Nets, he's just like pieced out at random points. He hasn't played 60 games in the season since 2018-19. He's went 20, 54, 29, 40 over the last 4 years. So that right there is the big question mark with Kyrie Irving. That's the only reason why he's even on the table, why he's even being, in the trade market, why he isn't on a long-term contract, is because of this off-the-court stuff. However, let me just pose this to you guys. You guys want to be better next year, don't you? A lot of you guys out there, you guys want to be really good next year? You guys want to have a better team on the floor next to Cade Cunningham? Is that what you guys want? Would Kyrie Irving not make the team better next year? Would Kyrie Irving not make this team definitely at least a play-in team next year, if not a playoff team? Would he not do that? That's all I'm saying. Would Kyrie Irving not do that? I think he would. Now, do I think the Pistons are going to be interested in him? No. Do I think they're going to trade for him? No. But, hey, if you want to be better next year, you can. This is a player who, and by the way, before we keep going, from what it sounds like and what the reports say, Kyrie Irving is okay being traded to whatever team is willing to give him a long-term contract extension. One that doesn't have little stipulations about winning a championship, apparently. I don't know what the Brooklyn Nets are doing with that, if that's true. They have to win a championship for him to reach something amount of money. If that's true, Brooklyn Nets are crazy. I don't know what the hell they thought that was going to do. But basically, any team that would give him a long-term contract, he's okay going to. He won't ask out, whatever. That's what the reports are. So, hey, Kyrie Irving definitely would make this team better next year. I think he would be a really good fit with Cade Cunningham. the Pistons desperately have needed a superstar or star type player, a guy like this, especially if they're trying to make this next step next year, if they're really trying to make this step forward. We've talked all about these potential trades for this big time trades coming in the offseason. Hey, look, as crazy as it sounds, look, I'm saying I don't think they will. I don't think part of me really doesn't believe they even should. Okay. But we've talked about a lot that when a star wants out, the Pistons have to choose which one they want to take a chance on. And Kyrie Irving's probably going to be cheap. They're not going to get a lot for him. I don't feel like they're going to get like legit assets for him. So, look, if the Pistons want to be better next year, Kyrie Irving is a hell of a player. And hey, he's available. And he's not going to be too expensive. And all you have to do is commit long-term money to him. Hey, and the Pistons have money to do it. They have the money to do so. So, look, Kyrie Irving has some stuff off the court. I'm aware of it. But on the court, he's one of the best players in the entire NBA. So, amen. That's all I'm going to say. And to wrap up this podcast, you guys already know it. I came up with a fake trade for this. Had to come up with a fake trade for it. As soon as I saw that he asked out, had to absolutely come up with a fake trade for it. And let me go ahead and get that up for you guys who are watching on YouTube, and I'll read it out for you guys. Let's get this up here. All right. So here it is. We got Kyrie Irving going to the Detroit Pistons for Alec Burks and Bojan Bogdanovic. Hey, I think that's a good deal. Hey, if the Nets want to take it and the Pistons want to give Kyrie Irving some money, hey, go ahead and do it. Kyrie would make this team better next year. Hey, you guys have told me that you guys want to be better next year. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. He's cheap. He's a star that's going to be out. They're going to be available for cheap, and all you have to do is pay him. So, hey man, let me know what you guys think about it. I know there's going to be a lot of people who are like Kyrie Irving stans. They're going to be super happy about it, but I'm almost 100% positive, like 98% of the fan base is going to be like, hell no, keep him away. And look, I don't think they really should either. But when a star like Kyrie Irving with that kind of star power asks out and he's available for what seems like the cheap, I feel like you're doing a disservice to not at least talk about it. I'm not going to lie. I think you definitely have to at least bring it up and at least discuss it as a possibility. So that's what I did here. No, I don't think the Pistons are going to trade for him. No, I don't think the Pistons are interested in him. But hell, that would be a really fun team to watch. I'm not going to lie. I would have a lot of fun watching Kyrie Irving in a Pistons jersey. All the other stuff off the court is fair, but on the court, that would be a lot of fun. I can't lie. That would be a hell of a lot of fun, and this team probably would be pretty good next year. So, but there's probably like a less than a 1% chance of that happening. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that the Pistons actually should be interested in Kyrie Irving, or do you guys think they should stay the hell away from him? Let me know in the comment section down below or over on Twitter at Kuka Hill. When we come back, we'll talk about what we saw in the Pistons win against the Charlotte Hornets when we come back. But first, I got to tell you guys about one of our sponsors, FanDuel. This year, the only app you need at your Super Bowl party is FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. We're really excited about our new sports betting partner for Locked On because they're the #1 sportsbook in America, FanDuel. And if you're new to FanDuel, that's even better. They have so many great features that make betting on sports fun and easy. Download FanDuel now so you can bet Super Bowl 57 with a no-sweat first bet. You'll get up to $3,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. FanDuel lets you bet on everything from the money line to point spreads to who will score the first touchdown, second half touchdowns, etc. All that kind of stuff. And again, I've been telling you guys, man, with the Super Bowl coming around, I don't know. I'm really feeling the Eagles versus the Chiefs, man. I think the Eagles money line is a good bet. I think they have the Chiefs edged out in every position, every area of the football field except quarterback. And I think Jalen Hurts is pretty damn good himself, especially with Mahomes being on a hobbled ankle. I think the Eagles might win this. So I feel comfortable taking the money line. That's some advice I would do for you guys. But the FanDuel Sportsbook also is safe, secure, and super easy to use. Best of all, you can get paid your winnings instantly. So join FanDuel today at FanDuel.com/LockedOn to claim your no-sweat first bet on Super Bowl 57. That's FanDuel.com/LockedOn. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. So I want to thank you guys again for making the Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons, hit that subscribe button, or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. So the Pistons, moving on past the wild trade talks and wild different universe talk about Kyrie Irving to the Pistons. Moving on past that, the Pistons got a win against the Charlotte Hornets Friday night in Little Caesars Arena. And there are a few players who were pretty damn impressive in this game. And I think the first one that we have to talk about, obviously, is Jayden Ivey. I think Jayden Ivey had his most efficient game of the season. He had 24 points, 7 assists to just 1 turnover. He shot 8 of 11 from the field, 4 for 4 from deep, and 4 for 4 from the free throw line. He was making everything he put up. He was taking, I think I was pretty happy with all but maybe like 2 of his shots, which isn't like a big deal. Everyone's going to take some bad shots. I think for the most part, he had really good shot selection in this game. I really like the playmaking that he was exhibiting too out there. Him and Jalen Duren have incredible chemistry, man. It's crazy how good that chemistry is between them already. They just know how to play with each other. They just know where each other are going to be in the pick and roll. They look really, really good together. And one could make the argument he only played, Jayden Ivey, I'm saying, only played 29 minutes in this game. He ended with 24 and 7. Another one of those games, another one of those games where a young guy could have played more minutes and his stat line would have looked way better. If Jayden Ivey would have played around 34, 35 minutes, we're probably looking like a 30-plus game with 10-plus assists. Who knows? I think that's where we're probably looking at right there. This is a complaint we've had for a lot of the year with Dwayne Casey and not playing young guys longer minutes, especially when they're playing well and they deserve it. But I definitely think Jayden Ivey deserved it. Killian Hayes didn't play very well off the bench for the Pistons, and I'm at a point now where I think the Pistons should just trade Killian Hayes. He doesn't look happy off the bench at all, and he multiple times tonight he just wasn't really. It didn't feel like he was moving around. I think they should just trade him and get it over with. His time here is over with. He has no role here moving forward, and they don't really care about his development. But so definitely Jayden Ivey should just be getting a lot of minutes and probably just minimize Killian's minutes, whatever you want. But Jayden Ivey definitely needs to be hitting at least 32 minutes if this is what they're going to do. And he looked really good in this game against the Charlotte Hornets. Now, the only thing I want to say is that the Charlotte Hornets are pretty awful defensively. However, the reads that Jayden Ivey was making and the composure that he has now, I believe he had 2 or 3 pull-up middies, and we've talked about this on the podcast before already. But just the progress that he's already made in that in-between area with his pull-up midi, how composed, how smooth, how fluid it looks. Again, at the beginning of the year, he was all over the place with the mid-range jumper. When he would take a midi, his legs would be flying around everywhere. He'd be all kinds of off balance. The ball would hit the backboard. Like it was all kinds of bad. He was so off balance. Now already we're in February, a few months into the season, a little bit more halfway through his rookie season, and he already looks much more improved, much more calm in that in-between area. That's a major improvement for him. He's not like he's elite anything at it already, but it's a major improvement from where he already was at the beginning of the season compared to where he is now. That's one of the best things I've seen from him so far throughout the season. And another thing I really loved in this game is that the Pistons had 22 turnovers. He only had 1 of them. If I told you before the game that the Pistons had 22 turnovers, how many turnovers do you think Jayden Ivey had? You probably would have said around 3 to 4. I mean, if the Pistons have that many turnovers, you're probably assuming that their guards turned it over a lot. But they didn't. 5 turnovers came from Jalen Duren. 4 turnovers came from Bojan. 5 came from Isaiah Livers, which is just unacceptable. Isaiah Livers, a guy who is that low usage of a player, should never have 5 turnovers. That's crazy. So that's where the majority of the turnovers came. Jayden Ivey didn't turn the ball over. He was very good with the ball in his hands. He didn't throw very many bad passes. He found the open guy when he was open, and he was getting to the rim and getting into the lane at ease. They couldn't stop him. Charlotte couldn't stop him. He was getting where he wanted to go almost every single possession, and whether that ended up with him scoring or him finding someone else to score, or maybe just a hockey assist, hitting someone else and then that creating an open shot for someone else like we saw at the end of the game with that Sadiq Bay, basically the dagger 3 to win the Pistons the game. Jayden Ivey was really impressive in this game, man. So definitely, I think the most efficient game of his rookie season, and the fact that he's already showing these, the incremental improvements playmaking-wise, the incremental improvements in the in-between game, the incremental improvements from, just 2 weeks ago when he was playing point guard to where now. And I don't want to go too crazy overboard because it is the Charlotte Hornets and they have terrible point of attack defense. But you still have to do it nonetheless. So you still have to give him a ton of credit. So where he was looking like 2 weeks ago as a point guard, today he looked a lot better. That's a big improvement. So I loved what I saw from Jayden Ivey. I thought he played really well, really under control. And he was a major reason why the Pistons won this game. He probably should have got like 6 or 7 more of Killian Hayes' minutes in this game. So that's where I stand with Jayden Ivey after this game. Another player who played extremely well was Jalen Duren. He had 13 points. He had 13 rebounds. He had 8 on 6 of 8 shooting. He had a really impressive block at the beginning of the game on Mason Plumlee. It was probably the block of the year for the Pistons. That was an insane block. Met him at the apex of his dunk attempt and just sent it back like 20 feet. It was impressive. So Jalen Duren continues just to impress, man. I can't say it any more than I already do, but he's 19 years old, man. He's the youngest player in the entire NBA. And the things that he does within a game, the youngest player in the NBA should not be doing. A 19-year-old should not be doing these kind of things already. His ceiling is off the charts, man. I'm a huge fan of Jalen Duren, dude. There's no way he should be doing what he's doing out here. And I could get into the rebounds. I could get into some of the rim protection stuff, the finishing around the rim that's been really good this year. I can get into all that stuff, but what I really want to get into, and then we'll just move on with Jalen Duren, the final play for the Pistons offensively that led to the dagger 3 for Sadiq Bay. I don't think people, if you watch the game, you guys know what play I'm talking about. If not, I'll explain it for you guys. But real quick, I just don't know if anyone understands just how impressive of a play this is. So Jalen Duren and Jayden Ivey run a pick and roll at the top of the key. It was like 35, 36 seconds left or something. They come around and do a pick and roll. Jayden Ivey's rolling or coming around to his left. He goes down the lane and he drops it off to Jalen Duren rolling down the middle of the key. Now, I believe it was LaMelo Ball, but whoever was guarding Sadiq Bay tags down the roller. And before the tagger gets a chance to even try to react and get back out to the corner, look, most big guys, there's not many big guys that can make this play. The ones who consistently make this play are one of the best bigs in the league. Those are the best bigs in the league who consistently make this play. But what I'm saying is, get back to the explanation of the play. Jalen Duren catches the pass immediately and doesn't hesitate. He doesn't have to stop, take a dribble, look around or anything. As soon as he catches the ball, it's a whip pass to the corner. It's almost a touch pass. He immediately feels the pressure. He doesn't have to see the pressure come from the tagger. He feels it. He feels the tagger. And immediately, he doesn't look at the rim. He doesn't think about shooting. As soon as he catches it, he immediately turns and whips it to Sadiq Bay in the corner. Sadiq Bay gets a wide open 3, probably the best look he's had all night. And he drains it from the corner, basically the dagger for the Pistons. Obviously, Sadiq gets a lot of credit for making the shot, but that play from Jalen Duren, not only to make that pass accurately and quick enough, like the pass be fast, but to be able to read that coverage that quick as a 19-year-old, as the youngest player in the league, to make that read as quick as he did, and to be able to process it as quick as he did, and then make the accurate pass is by far, look, there was probably some other plays in the night that were super cool that you guys remember and probably your guys' favorite plays of the game. But that right there by far is my favorite play of the game. It's such impressive stuff, man, that you just don't see from 19-year-olds. Heck, you don't even see it from a lot of vet centers. A lot of guys have to catch it, look around, then make the read. They might look to shoot first and then realize the guy's in front of them. It's just it's an incredible read. And I could talk about it literally for the next 30 minutes. That's how impressed I was from it. That's how impressive of a play that was from Jalen Duren. I can't accurately put into words how impressive it is, how his short roll passing is overall, not just that play, but on the season, his short roll passing. He had one bounce pass to Bojan Bogdanovic on the back door late in the game that I feel like Bojan should have caught, but that was another really good bounce pass from him. His passing is off the charts for a big guy. In a few years, I guarantee you this, in like 2 to 3 years, they're going to be talking about Jalen Duren as one of the best passing big men in the NBA. He's not going to be Jokic. Jokic is the best ever. But he's going to be one of the best passing big men in the entire NBA. I feel confident saying that. It's crazy how good he is at it already. But those two guys, the Pistons, 2 rookies, Two guys going to the Rising Stars Challenge, played extremely well against the Charlotte Hornets, a Charlotte Hornets team that basically traded Jalen Duren, by the way, to the Pistons. So I'm sure they're feeling a type of way about that. I didn't even, Mark Williams, did he even play in this game? Apparently he played 1 minute. I don't remember it. But either way, both those guys played extremely well. And so far, the future is looking bright for those two young guys, man. Looking bright. When we come back, we'll touch on Sadiq Bay and what he did in this game in a different type of role coming off the bench. We'll talk about that when we come back. But first, I got to tell you guys about one of our sponsors, PrizePicks. So let's, for example, say on Super Bowl day, on Sunday, whenever the Super Bowl is, let's say you want to take the over on Patrick Mahomes passing yards, and you want to take the over on Jalen Hurts rushing yards. But then let's say the Pistons also play that day. You want to take the over in Jayden Ivey's points and the over in Jalen Duren's rebounds. Well, you can do that. You can put that into the exact same slip over at PrizePicks. You pick 2 to 6 players and see if they score more or less than their PrizePicks projection. You win up to 25 times your money on any entry. You can do cross sports entries. That's why it's my favorite daily fantasy option. No competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available. PrizePicks offers projections on any sport that you watch. This includes NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, PGA, college football, men's college basketball, women's college basketball, soccer, WNBA, esports, NASCAR, tennis, MMA, boxing, disc golf, Euro basketball, cricket, and more. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's just that easy. Safe and fast withdrawals, currently operational over 30 states and Canada. Download the PrizePicks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports today. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code LOCKEDON. If you deposit $100, PrizePicks will give you $100. If you deposit $50, PrizePicks will give you $50. Don't forget to enter promo code LOCKEDON and sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100 at PrizePicks. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. So the Pistons, I maybe should have mentioned this a little earlier in the podcast, but they changed the starting lineup again. And they went right back to the 2 big man lineup. They went with Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart, Bojan Bogdanovic, Alec Burks, and Jayden Ivey. That's the starting lineup. I'm assuming that's probably going to be the starting lineup for the rest of the year, assuming the Pistons don't make any trades. And I'm just going to assume they don't make any trades. They plan on ruining my life and making it as boring as possible. But yeah, they went back to this 2 big man starting lineup. And the 2 bigs had 29 rebounds combined. Stu had 16. Jalen Duren had 13. No one on the Hornets had more than 8. And the person with 8 on their team was LaMelo Ball. Plumlee had 4 rebounds. He got destroyed down there. PJ Washington had 2. He got destroyed down there. Destroyed by the 2 bigs. Now, it's probably a big reason why the Pistons won. Just the big men just destroyed them on the glass. Absolutely obliterated them. So just want to give some credit there. Stu did shoot 3 of 12 from the floor. Still hasn't hit a 3. It's getting a little bit concerning. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It is a little bit concerning how much he's fallen off from 3 over like the last 22 games. And I am a little bit concerned about it. I'm starting to think that maybe – actually, I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to say that I am pretty concerned about it at this point, and it's definitely like getting close to sound the alarms, in my opinion, with it. But I want to talk about Sadiq Bay. Sadiq Bay was moved to the bench, and there was 4 players that played off the bench for the Pistons. Killian Hayes, Sadiq Bay, Isaiah Livers, and Hamidou Diallo. Diallo had 4 shots. Livers had 3. Killian had 6. That combines for 13 shot attempts. Sadiq Bay himself had 16. And I think this is the role they're probably going to have for Sadiq Bay now. I don't think they're going to ask Killian Hayes to shoot the ball. I think they're going to tell Killian Hayes not to shoot the ball as much. I think you're going to see Diallo not get as many shots. I think you're not going to see Isaiah Livers get as many shots. I think what you're going to see for the rest of the year, you're going to see them start these guys that they started tonight for the rest of the year. And then coming off the bench, they're going to just let Sadiq Bay be a high-volume shooter, a high-volume type of scorer off the bench, and see how he does with it. Now, we've seen him in this type of role at other parts in the season. We've had mixed results, but I will say that's probably his best role right now, and it is one of the only roles that I can see him in being successful for the team, and a role that I can see him being successful at this point. Now, he can improve in the offseason. He can change other things. Maybe we'll see what happens in his future, but as the player he is right now, that's the only role I can see him possibly being successful in when it comes to contributing to winning, having him come off the bench and just be a high-volume chucker, a high-volume scorer. Some nights he'll be super hot, and he'll get, he'll shoot 50% from the field. He'll have 22 points off the bench like he did tonight. Other games he'll shoot like 3 of 12 and struggle from the field. But he's going to be aggressive. He's going to be going for a shot every single night. He's going to get his shot attempts, and that he gets hot, he's one of those players who can really start pouring it on the other team. So tonight was one of those nights for him. He had 22 points and 8 rebounds. He was playing really well. He had a few nice drives to the rim. I don't get why his pass, like even Stu made some really nice passes. Stu had 6 assists tonight. He had some really nice reads off the dribble, kicking out to the corner, dumping it off. Sadiq Bay just doesn't do that. I don't get it. His vision can't be that bad because some of his misses, again, we've talked about this a lot for like 2 years now. Some of his misses, his percentages from the field would just go way up if he just made like a better play in that moment. Like 8 of 16 could have easily been like 8 of 13 if he would have just made the right pass instead of forcing a shot. That's my one critique of him, and that's probably going to be a critique I always continue to have with him. I don't know if it's ever going to get much better. But overall, he did a really good job getting to the rim, finding his shot. He did shoot 3 of 8 from deep, 37%. You'll take it. High volume, 37% from the field. You can take that over a season. I think all of us would be okay with that, happy with that, to say. And yeah, I thought Sadiq played really well tonight. So I think the Pistons were led by Jalen Duren, Jayden Ivey, and Sadiq Bay. They all played really well in the role that they were asked to play tonight. And I think this is probably how you're going to see the team played for the rest of the season. Jayden Ivey and Jalen Duren high pick and rolls in the starting lineup, with Isaiah Stewart starting next to Jalen Duren, and then Sadiq Bay soaking up all the shots off the bench for the Pistons bench unit. I think that's what you're probably going to see for the rest of the year. But that's all I've got for you guys today, man. Let me know in the comment section how you guys felt about Jayden Ivey's game, the most efficient game of the season. I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. Hit the subscribe button to the YouTube channel. Leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Stay safe. Go Pistons. And until next time, peace out.